Hi everyone. So I'm back. Today we are doing 5.5, the sine law. We are skipping 5.4 for now. We will be going back to that one after this video. So this would be for this class. Then the next class would not be the other half of 5.5. I would go back to 5.4. There's a reason why I'm doing that, okay? So let's talk about that later. So I'm doing the check your understanding in number one in page 469 and check understanding in uh, page what 470. Okay, so right now I would just like to talk about the sine law. What is the sine law? All right, so the sine law talks about how you can solve for the side or an angle of a triangle. Okay, so for example, um, I have something like this. All right, this is not a right triangle. Okay, so in Math 10, we learned how to solve a triangle if it was a right triangle using SOHCAHTOA, right? Now, in Pre-Calc 11, we will learn a method to figure out how to solve a triangle. When you solve a triangle, by the way, it means that you are going to find all of the missing sides and all of the missing angles, all right? If it just tells you solve for a certain angle, in this case, solve for A, then you're going to be solving for angle A only. All right? Okay. So angle A, B, C. Okay. So the sine law would allow you to solve for the missing side and the missing angle by creating relationships between a side and the angle opposite that side. All right? So let's think about that for a moment. We will be creating ratios between the sides and the angle opposite that side. So we have triangle ABC. Now triangle ABC has vertices which are labeled using capital letters or uppercase letters, right? That is how you label a triangle. You don't really label a triangle like this, all right? A, B, C, all right? You don't really do that. So what we need to be doing is we need to label the sides using a little letter, a lowercase letter. Okay, now, once again, those capital letters represent the vertex or vertices of a triangle. All right, angle A is this angle here, angle B is this angle here, angle C is this angle here. Now, by the way, before I forget, there are actually three ways to represent angle A. All right, I just wanted to uh, take note of this because some of you might have forgotten. Now, angle A, which is this one, may also be written in another way. All right, angle BAC. And it could also be written in another way, angle CAB. What does that mean? All three ways of writing it represent the same angle. If you are using only one letter, you only need to use the letter at the vertex of the angle, meaning where the two arms meet. Remember, an angle looks like this, and this. The two sort of sides or arms are called rays. Okay, what is a ray? A ray has an endpoint right here, and it goes on and on at the other end. All right, that's a ray. Now this one is the vertex. Oops, that's the vertex. Sorry for that. My phone is ringing. Okay. Okay. Let me just turn this up because it might come on again. All right. Mm, okay. Therefore, with angle C, same thing. It could be BCA, it could be ACB. Angle B could be ABC, could be CBA. All right. Okay. Now, let's go back to talking about, all right, how can we represent or how can we create a ratio? Because the ratio is what you're going to be using in the sine law. All right. Um, the first page of the section of this section talks about how you can derive the sine law. If we were in class, I would be doing it right in front of you, but we're already moving so slowly. All right. We're only doing one lesson in a day or in a week. That's why I just don't have that time. If you are interested in thinking about where did the formula come from, all right, I always tell you, you know what, don't just think of the formula. See if you can figure out how it came about, all right? So you can just Google how to derive the sine law. All right, so the sine law goes like this. It is a ratio, all right? A over sine A, okay? Now you may have noticed, why did I change the color? There's a reason why. Equals B over sine B equals, oops, equals C over sine C. All right. No, I actually should have used black for capital A because capital A is here. All right, anyway. Okay. So what you're going to do here, if you're going to be solving using the sine law, is that you will be using values, all right, and plugging it into either this set of fractions, so this proportion, all right? A proportion is made up of two fractions separated by an equal sign. Either that or this, okay? Or the proportion without this. Okay, so A over sine A equals C over sine C. So really, you only need two fractions and you will be separating them by an equal sign. Now, you will be plugging in values here. All right, so that means the little a you need to know. The capital A here is just an angle. So if that angle was 40, you will put in 40 degrees there. All right. But the problem is, what is little a? What is little b? What is little c? Now, I hope you remember that to label a triangle using little letters, the little letter a would be used to label the side opposite angle A. Where's angle A? This one. All right. What is opposite angle A? This side here. All right. Therefore, this is little a. What about little b? Angle B is over here. Opposite angle B is this one. This is little b. Okay. What about angle C? Angle C is right here. What is opposite angle C? It's this one. Therefore, little c is this one. All right. So what I would recommend is the moment you um, see a problem that requires you to do the sine law, identify the different or label the different sides right away using little letters because that will help you figure out what values to plug into this sine law. All right. So this one, this sine law, you should memorize if you ask me. It's really very easy to memorize. A over sine A. That's all you need to figure out. It will be equal to B over sine B equal to C over sine C. It's always the same letters, right? All right. Oh, I mean, it's always the same fraction except that you're changing the letters, if you know what I mean. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first. Check your understanding on page 469. Find the length of GH to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. All right, where's my calculator? Right here. Okay. So where is GH? GH is this one right here. Okay. This line segment. Okay. Now, what little letter should be used to represent GH? All right. What angle is opposite GH? Well, it's angle J, right? It is angle J, and that side opposite angle J is GH. So let's represent it by using little j. All right. Okay. Now, little h is also already used to represent uh, the side opposite angle h. Okay. You may want to label this side as little g. All right. That's okay. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. Do you really need to do that? Not anymore because there's already a value. All right. So what I usually do is if there's no label to a side or an angle, all right, I will put a letter to it. Like in this case, if the 7.8 wasn't there, I would label it with a letter. Okay. So we don't have ABC, but we have GHJ. All right. So how does the um, sine law look like? A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. All right. So let's just change the letters. All right. So let's say if my A is G. All right. So that would be little g over sine of g. Okay, this would be equal to what? Maybe little gh. All right, little h over sine of h, and then equal to little j over sine of j. Okay, so as you can see, we have three fractions. We don't really need all three. We only need two. Okay. The trick here, guys, is to ask yourself first, what is which one among these fractions, all right, would have the uh, the one that you're looking for, in this case, the j, all right? Oh, the j is here. Okay. So for sure, we're going to need this whole thing. We're going to need that. We're going to have j over sine j, okay? I'm going to put it here, j over sine j. So for sure, I'm going to need that. And I need it to be equal to another fraction, okay? Either this or this, so that I can create a proportion, okay? Now, the question is, when you pick between these two fractions, which one you need, you have to make sure that the one you will choose will have the values you will need to replace the letters. For example, all right, so let's say, okay, I'm just beginning with this. Let's say I pick this, okay? And don't be afraid to make a mistake. You will make a mistake, okay? So that's okay, all right? You're just beginning to learn. So you have to make sure that what you will do is that in this proportion that you have, so the proportion that I have consists of two fractions with an equal sign in the middle, okay? How many variables do you see? There are four. Little j, all right, capital J, little g, oops, sorry, okay, little g, capital G. Okay. Of those four, three variables should have values in the triangle. They need to have numbers. Only one of the variables should be left without a value once you plug in the values. Okay, so let's see. Well, obviously, we don't know what little j is. That's the one we're looking for. All right, so that's fine. Do we have capital J? Do we have the value of capital J? Where's capital J? Right here. Oh, yeah, it does have a value, 44 degrees. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to replace the J with 44. Okay. Sine 44. Okay, and then what about G? Do we have a value for G? Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, which is this one. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to replace the G. Replace that with the value given. What is that value? All right. G is 7.8. Okay, so let's put in 7.8. There we go. Okay. What about G here? Do we have a value for G? Yes, we do. All right. We need to get rid of that G and plug in the value. So the value is 51. Okay. The J over sine 44 equals 7.8 over sine 51. So that is what you're going to be solving. Now, what's going to be critical here is how you use your calculator. Okay? Different calculators work different ways. So you have to practice with your calculator. Okay? Um, I don't know how you were taught by your teacher before on how to solve a proportion. All right? Like this. All right? Um, uh, put it this way. If it was like x over 3 equals, I don't know, 6 over 9, how do you solve for x? Okay, so I'm sure you have done something like this before, wherein some of you would say, oh, cross multiplication. Yeah, all right. Most likely that is what you're going to be doing, and that's okay. All right, so here, if you were to do cross multiplication, the idea is you will be multiplying these two, whatever that is going to be equal to these two. And then you're going to be dividing both sides by sine 51 degrees. All right, I'm going to show you something that has worked for me. Okay, if you were in my Math 9 class before, you would have seen this probably. Okay, so I called it, or kids called it, the Mexican hat. I was shown this by another kid. I have my own way of doing it, but this kid learned it from another teacher. All right, and it actually is something that is effective because there's a name attached to it and kids remember. All right. A Mexican hat for those of you who are familiar with it is sombrero in Spanish or in Tagalog. A sombrero looks like this. All right. If you've been to Mexico, you'll probably have seen that, or maybe you have one. Okay. What does that mean? So to solve this, you will create a Mexican hat like this. Okay. The idea is the two numbers that are sort of diagonal, okay, you will multiply. And then the remaining number you will divide by. Okay, that is the idea. So if you're thinking, all right, so I don't get it, x over 3 equals 6 over 9, how does the sombrero work for this one? Okay, what will happen here is you will multiply these two. 6 times 3 is 18, all right, divided by 9 is 2, right? Isn't that the answer here? So that's the same thing that I'm trying to tell you. Now you just have to be careful with using your calculator because some calculators require you to put in the number first before putting in the before hitting the trig ratio. For example, to do sine 44 in my calculator, you will have to put 44 first and then press the sine um, button. Some other calculators would want you to do sine, press the button first, and then put the 44. I don't know what your calculator is. You have to be familiar with it. Okay. Also, make sure that you are in degree mode because there are three modes: degree, radians, gradient. So we're doing degrees only. All right. If you're doing this correctly, okay, the answer would have been um, about 6.97 meters, 6.97 centimeters, and rounded up to the nearest centimeter would be about 7.0. And there's your answer. Okay, next one. Check understanding number 2. Okay, this time we are finding the measure of an angle. In check understanding number 1, we had to find a side. Okay, all right, but still the same. Okay, we are using the sine law. What is the sine law again? A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. All right. In this case, there's no A, there's no B, there's no C. So we'll just assume that it's just replaced by M and P. All right, whatever. Okay. So let's label the side that is missing. Measure of angle N. All right. So this is the angle that we're looking for. Okay. All right, that's fine. This is little n. All right. Now I know that we're not looking for that. I'm just saying that that's how I do it. I always put in what I think was missing. If in case I need it, it's easy to get. All right. So here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for angle n. But remember, if I create a ratio using these letters, the ratio for angle n would be n over sine of angle n. Now I have a problem here because angle n is something that I don't have. All right, I don't have that. So, and I also don't have sine n. So it wouldn't work if I were to do this ratio. So that means I have to try the other ratios first. Okay, meaning let me find angle P instead. And then once I get angle P, because it has the opposite side to it, if I add it to whatever angle P is going to be, if I add it to 92 degrees and then subtract everything from 180, then I get angle N. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's see. If it was P that I'm going to be using, so now I'm going to be, okay, P over sine P. So that's little p over sine angle P, capital P, okay, is equal to, oh, by the way, this is little m. Okay, m over sine of capital M. Okay, all right, so let's plug in the values. Do we have little p? Okay, where's little p? See, I also forgot. Okay, bear with me here, I'm a little tired. Okay, little p is 10 over sine of p. What is p? We don't know yet. Okay, take it easy, we'll get there. What is m? M is 11.8. Okay, over sine m. What is m? 92 degrees, or capital M, 92 degrees. Okay, so once again, to solve this, we're looking for P right here, right? This one. So let's try the Mexican hat thingy. So multiply, divide. Okay, so try that yourself. And if you were to do it using your calculator, I already did it earlier. So my calculator came up with this value, 0.846, all right, 84694171379. So that's all the digits that my calculator can come up with. Okay. Now I will caution you. Usual mistake that kids would do is they will do this. P is equal to that number, and then it falls apart. Okay. You're thinking why? Because the value that you got is not P, it's sine P. All right. Remember, what's under the 10 is sine P, not just a P. So if you're thinking, okay, so what do I do? How do I get P? Well, what you need to do is to do the sine inverse. P is equal to the sine inverse of that number. All right. So um, if you still have that number on your calculator, if you did not clear the screen, all you need to do is press second sign or shift sign. And if you're doing it correctly, you would have gotten 57.88 degrees. Or it rounds off to about 58 degrees. All right? So that is angle P. That is the measurement of angle P. Okay? Now, what is it at the beginning that we were looking for? Oops. We were looking for angle N. All right. We are looking for angle N. So we were able to find P. So since inside the triangle is a total of 180, we already know angle M. So that means 180. Right. Let's put it here. 180. Oh, angle N is equal to 180 minus 92 minus 50. And that would be about 30 degrees. And there's your answer. All right. So for this one, it wasn't really very straightforward. You had to solve for another angle first before you were able to get the angle that you need. But it's really the same thing if you ask me. It's just more work. So I hope that helped you. So good luck with the homework. Um, until next time. Okay. So that's it for me.